And also, I guess I try not to. I still try to. Another thing is approach the saints and even God, Jesus, as first of all humans. At least in the visual form, they're humans. They don't have, they're not aliens. I mean, whatever, the fantasy representation that might be, they're just humans. And so in a way, only from the way I deal with it, that just hint on more than just the human. It's sort of the divine. But I guess it's more creating the suggestion. I mean, even the smile, the welcoming, the love that that sort of is a very much a human thing. But also and there's a lot of it. I guess that hints on divinity as well. It's I guess when I switched to actually talking about the actual formal elements, that really of how the work itself, the words, start kind of losing it, it's very physical actually in the end. You just kind of feel it. I can try to talk about it, name it, even as I work sometimes, but it's only just approximation of what it really is.
There's a great sense of serenity with the face. Just a wonderful sense of calm and serenity. You talked also about working with the hands of the sculpture and wanting to get them right, if you will, and really having some difficulty being happy, being satisfied with the hands.
True. Yes. And because there's several typical, especially dealing with something already so much coming from tradition with 2,000 years, and of that the good 1,500 years with actually a lot of great art. There's just about everything has been already done, and there's certain more typical popular poses, and of course Christ reaching out, but usually he is, and there again, there comes the more didactical sort of part of art that sort of illustrated certain ideas, and also of the more commanding church, that showing the stigmata, for instance, that was quite often why Christ was reaching out, stretching his hands out towards people. But this sort of welcoming is, there's quite a few of sculptures that I've seen of him stretching out hands, but there was some disconnect, either the face was kind of wooden, dead, or at least lacked the intensity, emotional intensity, or the actual reaching really. In short, I just wanted the whole body just kind of really to radiate that he's reaching out to folks there. And so the hands, I'm trying to also right now think about what other aspects of it were, because he's, for one thing, he wants to show his stigmata. Okay, then also pull us towards himself, but then he's also opening up just to embrace us. And it was kind of all of it at once in some way, but of course it's easier said than done. It's kind of that as again the concept, but then in the actual work the hands came at the end, so I had these I liked rich folds, sort of, because that's what we associate the Christ's, usually robe. It's just that there's a lot of folds, and that's kind of my postmodern take on it. This is I don't necessarily try to make any very logical sort of dress with seam like pulls here, so there's a fold that necessarily has, in realistic representation of that, you would have to deal with it. I kind of just go completely loose and wild about, just folds. Yeah, there's a lot of folds. Now out of these come hands. Do they connect and make perfect sense? Maybe, quite possibly not, but it doesn't matter. Of course you cannot commit any major anatomical mistakes. Granted, there, you shouldn't. Although the really contemporary cutting-edge art, if it looks too correct anatomically, it's almost bad art, so you have to be, kind of almost pretend like you really forgot how to draw. Well, I didn't go that far here, okay, I still try to remember how to be correct anatomically. And then somehow I ended up as I built the folds, cutting them in two places each, and moving them around to get that sort of the combination of reaching out this way and all And in the end, I don't think I marked the stigmata. People who sort of have seen other work, and they may look for them, and that's good enough. In that sense, that it is suggestive of that, but at the same time, I just wanted to show his humanity first of all, and not to distract, especially young people who don't know anything about it, and they wouldn't even seeing it, they wouldn't notice it because they wouldn't know what it is. So in a way, I just didn't want to add an extra layer of meanings that just don't mean much to most people these days anymore. So he's just reaching out, but that was very intuitive, I have to say. I really did. I used the model a little bit, but not enough probably for my, just to speed up work. Sometimes it would help. So I used myself and kind of tried to play it, just the hug, and went back and forth again. It was just kind of work. It's almost as if it's work in progress, but frozen at some point. I guess it's